Hello, 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 sellers. Come on in, come on in. I'm Kathy, and I love to be selling. Oh, we have quite a topic today, which is what is with the exodus of sellers leaving eBay? And what is with the videos saying, I've had it with eBay. I'm done with eBay. I'm quitting eBay. You can't be a small seller and survive on eBay. And there's a lot of them. Okay. So that's why I'm addressing this. It's not a topic I don't think I've ever covered before, but I think it's an important one. And also because some different things I was listening to where people are just saying things that are completely wrong, that are unsubstantiated, and it's how things get started. So I said, you know what? I'm going to jump in. I'm going to have my say and stick to the facts. Because those of you that follow me, and thank you so much for those of you that do on my Facebook business page, I love to be selling on my YouTube channel, Kathy Terrell. I love to be selling and my podcast. And if you don't know, just a couple of weeks ago, I crossed 100,000 downloads. So thank you, podcast people. And there I'm also Kathy Terrell. I love to be selling. Is I very much like to stick to facts and truth, and I cite my sources so that you can go and look at things yourself. I'm also very sympathetic to different situations that people find themselves with. It's one of the great things. I run a large Facebook group. If you don't know, eBay Selling, nothing but eBay selling. And we've got over 17,000 members, and they're global. So I hear a lot of stories. I go in there and read it regularly so that I'm up to date on everything that's going on for people. And that I just have an ear to the ground. Besides my membership group, love to be selling insider. So that's why I want to talk about this, because I was watching this one video and I just went, this is wrong. So why the exodus from eBay? Like, what is going on? So first of all, there's always sellers that are leaving eBay. I mean, I've been selling for over 15 years. I don't think I've ever gone a week without seeing a post from somebody that is leaving eBay selling, and with different reasons. And I'm going to go over some of the reasons. So I don't see that has changed. In the past, people have left eBay selling. Last week, people were leaving eBay. This week, people are leaving eBay. Next week, people are leaving eBay. And just for the same thing happens on other platforms, because I have friends that are on Amazon and people are leaving Amazon last week. They're leaving Amazon this week. And the same thing happens on Etsy. There were a lot of changes on Etsy over the past couple of years. There was a lot of sellers left Etsy because they were upset. Things go on. Hey, Dale. Yes, 29 years for you and you're staying. Absolutely, Dale. Dale's in Florida. Wonderful seller. So again, all platforms have this. And I'm not belittling anything that people are going through. Please understand that. I started very small selling on eBay, very part-time. And really, when I started, my focus was on my mom. And I do work with some sellers. In fact, I was just reading a post from a seller where their focus right now is on taking care of a family member. So as far as leaving eBay, I wanted to start off, first reason I'll see sometimes is personal. You have a family member that needs your attention. You might have personal medical situation that needs your attention. And perhaps you were a full-time seller and now you need to scale back to part-time, and it's your choice. I realize the circumstances are sort of forcing your hand, but you are scaling your selling back. Just like if you were at a job where you had some kind of control over your hours, you might scale your hours back. I know people full-time with major corporate jobs, well, they would do a move from one area to another because of family, because they want to be closer to their family. So that when you see things about people leaving eBay, read it. For some people, it's personal and it is their choice. They may not give all the details, but there is something going on with family or for themselves, whatever. So personal. And the flip side of that, and it's one that I'm very passionate about, which is the person is a full-time seller. And again, because of their family circumstances, they are choosing to scale back their eBay because they want to get a job with benefits, and they're few and far between. We all know that. So they want a job that has health care, which it may be a need for their family. With some, it's a husband-wife team or a partnership team. One person's got the health insurance, which is the coverage for the family. and they no longer have that job or they no longer have that benefit. And so you make the choice. That's it. I'm going to go get a job that has health care. I'm going to get a job that has a pension. I have a family member that made that choice. They were working with a lot of different freelance work over the years, and they decided at one point that, you know what, I'm going to go find a job that has a pension. Okay, so sometimes people are full-time sellers, and it's not necessarily anything with eBay. It could also be, you know what, that they're ready for a change. Raising my hand on that. I certainly know what that's like. I was on QVC for over 6 years. And then for me, because of family, I was ready for a change. But it can also be you. You're going, I love eBay, or you might have mixed feelings about eBay and you're ready for a change. You want to do corporate. You want to do 9 to 5. Maybe you're going and working for a nonprofit. I mean, there's a lot of reasons that people go from full-time to part-time. But when I see posts of people that are taking a job because of benefits they want for their family, and people jump on them saying, oh, you should continue as a seller. Oh, the selling life is the only way to be. And the reverse. People that are part-time eBay sellers that are doing fine. I know people that are selling part-time. They're making $20,000, $30,000 a year or more. It's like, right? You want to go, Kathy, who are those sellers? I want to hang out with them. Some of them are in my membership group. They're a part-time seller. They're a part-time seller because they have a full-time job, which they might have mixed feelings about, but it has benefits for their family, and their family needs it. And they might be a single head of household. There might be 2 members of the household, right? Well, husband, wife, again, a partnership situation. They need the benefits. And when people jump on and say, oh, well, you're not really a seller unless you're full-time, you've really got to go full-time, go for it, quit that job, leave that job, go full-time on eBay. I go, excuse me, are you getting ready to pay their medical bills? Are you taking care of their family? They might have young children that need the benefits that this job has. So again, all of our situations are different. So whether you're scaling part-time to full-time or full-time back to part-time, okay, or you're a full-time seller, you've always been a full-time seller and you're going to go part-time because you need to go and get a job with benefits. You know what? Good for you. You're making a choice that's right for you. And it is for a season. I always think of the thing in Ecclesiastes. It is for a season. Okay. So again, full-time to part-time to full-time. We all have personal things. And you know what? It's nobody's business. You make the decisions that are best for you and your family. So that can be a reason why somebody, quote, is leaving eBay, changing their eBay, scaling back their eBay. It's for personal reasons because of the fact that they are looking for a job that has more benefits, or they just need a more steady paycheck. They need to know a certain amount of money is coming in. The way I did my finances with eBay for years was I basically looked at, once you've been selling for a couple of years, I always would budget for the lowest. So if I made this amount of money, this amount of money, this amount of money, whatever amount of money was the lowest from those years, that's what I would do the eBay budget on. As far as buying apps and services and things like that. And then as I grew more, then, okay, now I'm going to try this app. I'm going to take this class, that kind of thing. So that's the way I did that for years. So that's the first one about, oh, I'm leaving eBay. The second one, and this is the one when I was watching this video, it was a gentleman claiming to be a smaller seller. And just for you guys to know, because I go to Washington periodically and lobby for small business sellers, yay, eBay. For our rights in Washington, it's like, hello, Washington, D.C. It's like, be nice to us. We're all trying to make a living out here in the various places across the U.S. and around the world. Is that with eBay is that what this seller was. Oh, so back to what a small business is. Depending on who you read, many businesses that are $3 million or $5 million gross revenue are considered a small business. So most of the sellers I know are small business. I think I know one multi-million-dollar seller, but most of my friends are basically 6 figures and under. So just for you to know that. So this person was saying, well, I'm a small business seller and eBay hates small sellers, and small sellers can't make any money on eBay because eBay's only interested in large sellers. Okay, and that's pretty much what he said. And then he went on from there, and I'm going to deal with that in a minute. But anyway, this may shock you. eBay doesn't make money unless we sell. So whether it's Dale's sale or Debbie's or Michael's or mine, eBay makes money when we sell. If we don't sell, eBay doesn't make money. Now, yes, a larger seller, and I'm thinking one seller I worked with that had literally thousands and thousands of listings. Yes. So this seller has, I think it was 4,000 or 5,000, maybe 6,000 listings. I'm working with another seller right now with over 10,000 listings. Yes, eBay typically will make more money off a large seller with has 4,000, 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 listings. Why? Because they have more listings up. And typically, if you have more listings up, unless you're in trouble, and then you come to Kathy and I help you, you're going to sell more. Why? You have more listings up. More listings means more keywords. You got more keywords in the title. And there's more things for the people to look at. It's like shopping here in New York City. When you go to a store like Macy's Herald Square, if you've never been there, it's huge. They got a lot of stuff. They got a lot of departments. They've got designer. They've got moderate price. They've got shoes, they've got jewelry, they've got makeup, they've got perfume, all kinds of toys. You know, at Christmas time, we've got holiday lane, we've got holiday. So there are a lot of different things. So Michael might come in for the holiday ornaments. Dale might come in because she's looking for a new shirt. Kathy might come in because I actually did this at Macy's. There was a type of men's gloves that my husband loved that Macy's carried. So I'd be going to Macy's to look for men's gloves. So they have a lot of different ways to get traffic into the store. Then there's a nice little boutique, maybe 5 or 6 blocks away, and it's much smaller. It's much smaller. Macy's is literally like a huge city block wide between, I'm trying to remember exactly, between 8th and 7th. I mean, and it's a long block. And then between 34th and 35th. I mean, it has a massive footprint, okay? The smaller little boutique has great stuff, but they probably maybe only have 50, a couple hundred items. I mean, Macy's literally has thousands and thousands of items. So the smaller store, I'm sure they get sales, but it's less. It's less because it's smaller. They don't have as much stuff up. And yes, there are very large sellers with tons of listings and they're not seeing sales. And that's when you look at things like, are you keyword optimized? Are you priced competitively? Yada, yada, yada. So what this gentleman was saying was eBay doesn't care about small sellers. They only care about big sellers. Not true. eBay cares about sales. eBay wants your stuff to sell because then they make money. Okay. That's what eBay cares about. So when eBay's offering you things like promoted listings, when you have things like eBay Store with promotional packages in them, like you can do coupons and sale events, it's because, one, they make revenue. eBay makes revenue from the stores and promoted listings, okay? But it helps to attract customers. And then the sales pricing, like Macy's. I learned all about reading small print from Macy's. Macy's does lots and lots of coupons and sales. Why? It brings people in and gets them to buy. So eBay is very happy if Dale sells or Michael sells or Kathy sells. What they care about is getting the sale. So eBay is not anti-small seller. They're anti-inventory that's not optimized. And yes, they like it if you give them money for promoted listings because eBay makes more money from promoted listings. And eBay is not the only place in town that does this. Etsy has ads. Amazon has ads. In fact, when I go to Amazon conferences, I'm going to talk about this for a second, and I talk to large sellers. There's one conference I go to that has tons of 6-figure sellers and they're Amazon sellers. Not one of them says that you could get sales on Amazon without doing ads, which is really interesting. Not one. So you look at your eBay and you put it into your price. Okay, do I like giving eBay more money for the sales? No, but it helps to get my items seen in search. Is it a pay to play? Yes and no. If your listing is not optimized, if it's much more expensive than everybody else, if it's not a quality listing, which means you don't have good keywords, you don't have good pictures, even giving eBay money, and this is where some people get themselves in trouble, very unlikely you're going to rank well because eBay's going to see the quality of the listing. So you want to have a quality listing and use promoted listings. And no, you don't have to give eBay as much money as they want. So you can take a look at eBay wants you to do 8%. And no, you don't have to do that much. And you can give them less. Okay, but you're going to need to test it. And that's another thing. I hear people, and I realize it's work, but Michael may say, oh, I do 4%. And Dale may say that she does 3% or 2%. And Debbie might say that she does, 4%. Whatever percent people say, great. Go and test it yourself. Put some of your widgets at 2 and some of your widgets at 4 and see if there's a big difference. And be sure to keep an eye on your margin. That's how much money you make. So it's what it's listed for. Then it sells. You've got your final value fee, your promoted listings fee. If you're doing promoted listings, you might have some really unique stuff that you don't think you need to do promoted listings on. Fine. But if it's sitting there forever, then you might want to think about it. Okay. And that's what this person was saying. eBay only cares about the big sellers. Not true. eBay makes lots of money off the smaller sellers. It's smaller sellers with optimized listings, means you're paying attention to your keywords. You're paying attention to your prices. You're paying attention to your business policies. And a huge thing that's important is that first image. Okay. Make sure you've got a good picture. Again, do I have to get all kinds of crazy equipment? No, but it needs to be clear and crisp and in focus, and I can see what I'm buying. Okay. So no, eBay does not favor the large over the small, but if you've got 6,000 listings and you're a smaller seller and you have 60 listings or 100, that means you have 100 things that can potentially attract buyers. Think Macy's in the small boutique versus you're a Macy's with thousands. But realize Macy's with thousands, that's seller with thousands, that's money invested in inventory. Perhaps they have a warehouse, perhaps they have help. They're going to have bigger overhead than you are. So all these things to factor in. So does eBay favor the large over the small? No. What eBay's interested is in sales, because then eBay makes money, and eBay makes money from the store subscriptions. Absolutely. Final value fees and promoted listings. And quick one, because I've seen this pop all of a sudden in eBay groups. I don't know if somebody's done a video on this recently, is if you've got your 60 widgets, somebody somewhere is saying something like, if you get an eBay store, basically eBay will flip the switch and you're going to get more views with an eBay store. That's not true. So whether you have a store or not does not impact you in search. So in the best match criteria, and you can search this on the internet, eBay best match criteria, and look at eBay's page. Don't look at Kathy's page or Michael's page about it. Look at eBay's page. They tell you some of the criteria for best match, and a store is not one of them. But that being said, remember what I was talking about before, but a store does give you the ability to do coupons and promotions, and that can attract buyers. So a store per se, no, does not get you more buyers, but it gives you tools that can attract buyers. Okay, so it doesn't favor big over small. It's looking for optimized. It doesn't favor store over non-store, but a store gives you some really cool bells and whistles. And then the last thing I want to touch on quickly is because I have sellers come to me, and actually, if you are a large store, if you are Macy's, and you have thousands of listings and you have no sales, it's alarming because you have a lot of inventory, a lot of money invested in inventory. You've got an eBay store, you've got a staff, and your sales aren't happening, and it's scary. So then what you do is you go in, and now we have Terapeak. If you're not aware of this, all sellers have Terapeak. It's under the research tab. And you go and take a look and you can put in the name of the item. And the great thing with Terapeak right now is the data goes back 3 years. And I was actually doing this for a client. I was looking at an item that wasn't moving. And this item, this brand, and I didn't even do size. I didn't do color, right? So if I was looking at puzzles, I might do the make of the puzzle. If I was doing the toy, I would do the type of the toy. You know, if it's teddy bear, even without the brand, but with the brand does matter for the teddy bear, you put it in. And for this item, there was no sales for 2 years. None, not one, not any size, not any color, none, no sales. So what I then went to my client and I said, we can relist it, we can optimize it and see if we can get some attention, but nothing has sold. And there's been things that are listed for 2 years. I said, so let's try an auction. let's see if that gets us some traction. So just to give you an idea on that, I mean, one, go and look on Terapeak. Is this thing selling at all? And if it is, then go and take a look at the ones that sold. What were they doing? Is it the price? Is it the pictures? What is going on that theirs sold and yours didn't? And again, the seller, the video I was watching says, well, the other people are selling these items and theirs are in for more money and mine aren't selling. And I end mine and I relist them and I'm not getting sales. And I'm going, yeah, and I'll tell you why. Because you're ending them, you're relisting them, and you're not changing them. It's like, back to Macy's and the boutique. If the pink shirt is in the window, if it's hanging there and no one is buying it, taking it off the one rack and moving it to the other rack isn't going to do anything. So I got to look. Do I need to call out the V-neck? Do I need to call out the fabric content? Back to the puzzles. Do I need to talk about the pieces? Do I need to talk about what it is? Again, I was working on a listing and it was a woman's shirt and it had flowers and birds on it. And it had a specific kind of bird. So is the bird a peacock? Peacocks are popular, by the way. Is it a peacock? Is it a robin? Is it a bluebird? People care about, there's people that love bluebirds. They love robin. Oh, dogs. If you've got things that have dogs or cats and you don't know the breed, Google image search is your friend. Take a picture of what that dog or that cat is. Or you can even search breeds of cats, and go and look. What kind of dog is it? Because if you can figure out what kind of dog it is, it's a Chihuahua, it's an Irish setter, and then you put it in as a keyword. This is a bonus tip, your title, but particularly the title you want to put it in, but then also in your description, but put it in the title. Because people that are Irish setter people or collie people, again, bluebird people, because bluebirds was their mother's favorite bird and they love to have things with bluebirds in them around them. And so we were working on this shirt and it had a specific bird on it. We called it out in the title and that shirt was sold within a week. And there were other shirts comparable. This shirt was more expensive. And I bet my bottom dollar, this is why you wish, you could find out what keywords the person was searching, but eBay doesn't tell you. But that people search that. They'll search the type of flower it is. If if it's a chrysanthemum or a rose, put it in the title. Title's where you want to put it, besides in the description. But eBay pulls from titles for search. So that's why if you don't know, you don't. You just say floral or you can't tell because it's very abstract and you don't want to guess. Then you just put floral. But if you can figure out what kind of flower, what kind of animal, and be specific on the breed, people love to do that. There's people that collect them. It happens to be their favorite. So do that. It could really help you. So it's the inventory. What's your price? Okay. If you've got multiples, take a look at volume pricing. Back to promoted listing. Yes. If the other seller is paying promoted listings 3 or 4% and you're not paying anything, let me think. eBay likes to make money. eBay likes to make money. eBay makes money from sales. eBay makes money from promoted listing sales. This person's giving eBay 3%. I'm not giving eBay anything. So give them 2% and put it in your price because this person was complaining about the other person's stuff was selling and it was more money. Well, they're factoring promoted listings into the price, so do it. And it comes down to do I want to succeed as a seller? I do. And it's not about eBay doing things my way. Wouldn't that be nice if Jamie Iannone got on the phone? Kathy, how are you? And I've met Jamie and he's a sweetheart. Kathy, what can we do for you today? I mean, he's busy in meetings and everything. No, eBay has its rules. It has its setup. There are times when we can give input. And I'm blessed. I'm on some beta teams. I get to meet staff at times. I certainly give them my input. But there's times where I give my input. They don't do it. It's like they listened and they made other choices. Then I look at, do I like selling on eBay? Frustrations and all. And I've certainly had my share. I'm sure you all have too. If you're selling anywhere for more than 4 or 5 years, you're going to run into some weird customer service, some demanding, hard situations, just things that are not great. But why do I love selling on eBay? I love my fellow sellers. A lot of the eBay staff I meet are just absolutely terrific, wonderful people. 99.999% of my buyers are terrific. Some of the feedback that is left, I mean, if you haven't read your feedback recently, read it, is absolutely lovely. And you also get some lovely messages. This can happen particularly when you sell collectibles. because the person bought something and it's evoking a memory of something that was really dear and precious to them, or they're buying it as a gift for somebody that is, going to be leaving the earth soon. And it's a way. There was one that I sold. It was a DVD to a buyer, and they were buying it for a dear friend that was in hospice care because they wanted this person to have. It was, it was a period of, it was music. And I'm forgetting exactly what it was. And they said that the person really enjoyed listening to it in their final days. I mean, oh my gosh, you get notes like that and you're just like going, oh, I love eBay, because we can really have an impact on our buyers because we give them a really wonderful buying experience. Especially because we are smaller sellers. We can do those little thank you notes, those little touches. And buyers are so appreciative. You save them a few bucks because you've given them a coupon or a sale. I mean, nothing beats it. And I control my hours. That's what I love with eBay. I control my hours. My grandkids are over. I can walk away from eBay and enjoy my playtime with them. A dear friend is in town. My sister's going to be in town in the coming week, and walk away from eBay for a day and spend time with her. And I don't have to ask permission. I don't have to switch shifts. I can just do it. So are small sellers leaving? Yes, some are because they're going to get a job with benefits. Other small sellers are because they get frustrated with eBay. I completely understand it. And that's when sometimes you just got to take a break. You know what I mean? Just take the weekend off, take a day off. You've been working 7 days a week, stop doing that. Give yourself a break. Because a lot of times we're spinning our wheels, we're getting tired, we're getting cranky. And what we need to do is to take a break. And then actually, if I walk away for 3 or 4 hours or a day or a couple of days, I come back, I'm more effective. When you're really, really tired, when a listing is taking me half an hour to do, I know I need to walk away because I'm just getting too tired and I'm making mistakes. Okay. So it's just to focus on what you have control over. What I have control over is doing quality listings. What I have control over is deciding how much I want to give eBay with promoted listings. Yes, eBay can ask for 8, 9, 10%. I can decide if I want to give it to them. Yes, it would be nice, to have the extra, the postage search without giving it, but that's not going to happen. This is revenue for eBay. So I factor it in and I factor it into my costs so that I know how much money I'm making. If certain inventory is no longer profitable to sell, and that can happen. You sold something 6 months ago or a year ago, and it's just not in demand anymore. So when I see it, when I'm outsourcing, I have to sit on my hands and not buy it because I can't make enough money on it because there's too much competition or the price has really dropped or whatever. And yes, as a seller to stay profitable, this was another thing I was saying, you might have to change inventory. I'm actually meeting with a seller this week. We're going to discuss this. And yes, it's hard, because that inventory, you like that inventory, but it's not selling. I used to sell a lot of vintage VHS, and some still does sell, but let me tell you, a lot sold in the past because it wasn't out on DVD, and now everything is streaming. So you got to be very careful with the media that you're buying. And yes, some media really, really sells. Okay. So again, you got to go back to Terapeak. You got to do your research. But I'm not making the money I did way back when with VHS. So then I pivoted. I went to fitness equipment. Then the fitness equipment that I had access to, it stopped selling. Fitness is very trendy, very. If you get access to something and you've got a good inventory source, great. And what I find is it lasts about 6 months. And then they're on. Remember Suzanne Summers with the Thigh Masters? Then people move on. You can't give them away. Is keeping the attitude of, I can do this. And I remember this early on with eBay. And this is back when I was learning how to click a mouse. I can do this. I can do this. I want to do this. And then focus on the parts of the selling that you like. Yes, there's parts that we don't like. Yes, there's parts that are really frustrating. Okay. But focus on what I do like and really watch who you hang out with. If you're always watching videos and always listening to people that all they do is complain and moan, guess what's going in your mind and heart, and guess what's coming out of your mouth. And I am not saying that eBay isn't very challenging at times and you get some returns that you just want to rip your hair out. It happens. It stinks. Nobody likes it. Thankfully, it's in the minority. Thankfully, the wonderful buyers like the gentleman who wrote me this sweet, sweet message about his friend who was in hospice are the majority. Okay. So focus on what you have control over. If you need to make a change, do it. If you need to do it gradually, you do it gradually. If it's something like the benefits and you get the job offer and it's the right thing, you go for it. And like Ecclesiastes, it's for a season. It's for a season. It's for a season. And focus on where you are now and flourish where you're growing. One thing that really, really helps with the inventory, knowing what's selling, is to look at the seasons. And yes, Christmas does sell year round. Yay, Christmas. So does Halloween. So does Easter. But also to look at, like right now, it's April 15th. There was a line at my post office for people filing their taxes. Thankfully, I bypassed the line because of my eBay shipping labels all being nice and done. We've got Mother's Day coming up. We've got Father's Day. Where right now, a lot of the prom people are buying their prom outfits. We got spring weddings coming up. It's also spring hunting season. You've also got a lot of spring camping going on. And then we're going to have summer travel, summer camping. So there's a lot of seasons going on and what they call retail moments. And you want to stay on top of that because it helps you sourcing. It also helps you, if you have some inventory that's been up too long, to pull it down. And when you pull it down, not like my poor YouTuber who was just hitting relist, you hit sell similar, because that way eBay thinks it's new and you change the listing. Don't just put the same thing up. Change the title, change the pictures around. Okay. And also take a look at, is this something that's applicable to a retail moment that's going on right now? Okay. And to do that, hang on a second. Here we go. Is take a look at, hop over to my website. I love to be selling, and take a look at this free guide I've done for you for Mother's Day. Okay. What sells on eBay for Mother's Day? Because depending on your home, your mom or you as a mom might like certain things. Like my mom loved to get clothing for Mother's Day, and she loved to get like perfume and creams for Mother's Day. She did not like to get appliances or anything for the kitchen for Mother's Day. Well, your mother might be completely different. And somebody else's mother, they want to get crafting supplies. And somebody else's mother, they love to get baking and cooking things. And somebody else's mother, they really love power tools. And so the guide really helps you to sort of break out of what you know, maybe from your family and your experience, and get you thinking about all the things. And I have pages and pages for you about what sells for Mother's Day, and grab it. It's free. So on my website, I love to be selling what sells for Mother's Day. Debbie's saying that's one of the reasons I love to watch you. You're positive and push gently for us to grow. Absolutely. Absolutely. Vicky's going, I have her Thigh Master. It's a newer one. Good. Go Suzanne Summers with the Thigh Masters. But remember how big they were? Back at the beginning, it was the thing. And ab rollers. I mean, again, fitness is very trendy. And again, if you do see a hot trend, and if you're able to source it, either retail or, thrift shops and thrift stores and stuff, jump on it. But really, when you're on Terapeak, be very, very careful. You want to look at the last 30 days of sales on fitness stuff to make sure it's on trend. But grab my Mother's Day guide. You will love, love, love it. Super popular. And it really helps you think of just how many different things sell for Mother's Day. So grab that. Good, good, good. Thank you, Dale and Vicky and Debbie, so much for joining me live. I really appreciate Sharon. Great, great, great to see you. Thank you so much. Christine, how are you? Angela, nice to meet you. Michael, always great seeing you. Thank you all for joining me. I'm Kathy, and I love to be selling. Bye-bye, everybody.